In our previous class, we learnt verb is very important part of speech and how do we define verb. Now we will learn about classification of verbs. Verbs are mainly classified into two categories. Those are main verbs and auxiliary verbs. What is the difference between main verbs and auxiliary verbs? Let us see. All action words come under main verbs. For example, speak, give, walk, all these come under main verbs. Then comes auxiliary verbs. What are auxiliary verbs? Auxiliary verbs are used as helping verbs. All be forms like am, is, have, has, can, may, all these come under auxiliary verbs. Now let us observe further classification of main verbs and auxiliary verbs. We will learn all these with examples. Now let us observe the classification of main verbs. Main verbs are mainly classified into transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. What is the difference between transitive verbs and intransitive verbs? Let us see the examples. He speaks English fluently. Here we must know about subject and object also. The word which comes before the verb is called subject and the word which comes after the verb is called object. So now let us take the sentence, he speaks English fluently. This fluently is adverb. Let us forget about that adverb now. Let us take these three words. He speaks English fluently. After the verb speaks, we have direct object, right? So such verbs which have direct objects are called transitive verbs. In case of these transitive verbs, we have passive voice. Now come to intransitive verbs. If you see the example, then you can have better understanding of it. He goes to college at 9 a.m. In this one, what do you observe? In this sentence, she goes to college at 9 a.m. What is subject there? The word she is the subject. Why is it called subject? Because it comes before the verb goes, right? So it is subject. What is object there? College is object. Why is it called object? It comes after the verb goes. So it is object. And what do you observe here? Did we get direct object there? No. It is followed by preposition. What is the preposition there? To. So she goes to college. Here she goes to college in that sentence. As it doesn't have direct object, it is indirect object. College is indirect object guided by the preposition to. Such verbs are called intransitive verbs. In case of intransitive verbs, we cannot construct passive voice. Only in transitive verbs, passive voice is possible. But in case of intransitive verbs, passive voice is not possible. Now let us observe the classification of auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs are of two categories. Those are primary auxiliaries and modal auxiliaries. What is the difference between primary auxiliaries and modal auxiliaries? See the examples there. All be forms, am, is, are, was, were, all these are called be forms, and have, has, do, does, all these come under primary auxiliaries. How can you define primary auxiliaries? These primary auxiliaries sometimes used as main verbs, sometimes used as helping verbs. For example, I did this problem. Here did itself is the main verb, right? Suppose if you say I did not complete the problem. Here complete is the main verb, did is used as helping verb. Let us take one example now. I am a teacher. I am teaching now. In these two sentences, I am a teacher. Here am indicates position. So here as there is no other main verb, am is used as main verb only. If you say I am teaching a lesson now, here teaching is the main verb and am is helping verb. In this way, primary auxiliaries are used as main verbs and sometimes used as helping verbs also. Now let us come to modal auxiliaries. Will, may, can, must. All these are used only as helping verbs. Those are not used as main verbs. For example, what does will indicate? I will come to your house tomorrow. Will denotes future tense. The weather is cloudy. It may rain now. Here rain is the main verb and may is the helping verb. I can solve this problem. Solve is the main verb, can is used as helping verbs. What do you understand by modal auxiliaries? They are used only as helping verbs but not as main verbs. In our next class, we will learn how main verbs are used as nouns and adjectives. Thank you.